there's so many interesting things about, we know this much about Egypt. And
Yeah.
I think that a lot of what we've been told isn't exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of Christian mythology ties directly straight from Egyptian stories. Like,
I talked to Sarah because when I was going with this with Mars, and I seen like one of the goddesses, it was a lunar goddess. I started looking up, and Selene, supposedly it's Selene, but Selene is now yeah, but a later combined with Artemis.
That night, after the coffee room, we went to Roy's and I was talking to Mike afterwards, and he brought up Celine after you were talking about Artemis. So it was interesting.
And Karen says when the God comes here, listen.
That's true. Well, I want to say thank you all for coming. Thank you so much for being here. I'm excited. I'm happy. Once again, my name is Ezekiel Nelson, and welcome to the Divine Self Part 1. How to raise your divinity, that divine love. And with this little bit about myself, some of you already know me, and I'm a massage therapist, metaphysical doctor, as well as a metaphysical minister. I am a spiritual voodoo priest, as well as I say spiritual voodoo because to title it, just one, I did the voodoo when I was down in Haiti, thank you, and I got my initiation there. But before then and after, I've been studying many other spiritualities. So being a part of that, it just helps to just combine and say spiritual priest and so forth, as well as deacon in my church. I'm a Reiki master teacher as well, and so I love this type of realm of existence. Being able to understand what divinity is. I've been working on this path since 2007, officially since 2007, and being able to, we talked about the bumps and the humps and so forth, getting over our challenges and everything. I did that. There was a time I didn't know a lot about the Orisha. I didn't know a lot about anything. I would leave the church, but I needed to know what to do and all that. So I was able to, that day, it seemed like when I prayed that night, the answer came that next day. I used to give plasma, and I ran into a guy while I was giving plasma, and funny story, we started talking about voodoo, started talking about the Orisha and all that kind of stuff. Well, so he started saying that he's a voodoo priest and all that kind of stuff. I said, oh, really? He said, yeah. I said, will you teach me? He was like, and kind of startled him because he's like, what? So it was like, he said, yeah, I'll teach you, but I won't teach you the voodoo part because you're too nice of a person. Voodoo is more of a harsher type of religion. The fact how religion ties into all the different other religions, it just kind of blew my mind. I began to work with the Orisha, I would have to say, in 2008. We were talking about earlier how you do the wrong thing sometimes. Well, I didn't realize just how wrong I was. My first experience with Papa Lake Bob was,
Stop doing that.
oh, I know. Oh, let me tell y'all a little something about myself also. I get nervous. I'm trying to stay calm. And so if I talk too fast, please slow me down. If I have a little click that's in my throat and I can't stand it. And I had, who was my spirit head was Osane. And I had a nice big altar and so forth. Well, if you don't understand what you're part of and what you're doing, then it's best not to build altars to anybody. I came home one time and I looked and I saw Papa Lake Bob's coconut split in a perfect split. Half on the plate, half on the floor. And And it freaked me out. I went upstairs, I asked Glenda, I said, Glenda, have y'all been in my room or anything? And she said, no, what's wrong? I said, Papa Levi's coconut is split open. I said, you want to see? She said, she said, wait for you to come home. So these energy was Sean Go. He was able to the divine and everything. So he came home and he divined everything. And come to find out, I wasn't supposed to have their altar. I didn't know nothing. Feel free. We all learn from each other. I appreciate that. Like I said, if I go a little too fast or do whatever, let me know. Just stop me. But I want to read this here. I actually read it at the mics. It's called The Divine Self. And we'll dive right in starting with this here. So here we go. Does the body have a psychology? Yes. Even the body has life controlled by the brain. The mind gives it direction, and the divine self gives the mind direction. The problem comes through the filtration of the direction. Flesh gets in the way. The interpretation of energy converting into words is distorted. This is why so much is done in part, and our realization is in part. We think we have the whole nut, but it is only the husk or even the outer shell. A man, which governs the mind. All above this is the great creator. What is the psychology of the brain to the spirit, beast, man, and God? These three are the psycho structure that every man will come to terms with. So, I got that through a meditation. And it leads us into what is divinity. Now, according to the Webster Dictionary, it places a divinity outside of yourself. It places it as a deity, a god, or whatever, but it places it outside of you. Everything is within. Everything. And being able to understand that, then you begin to look within yourself. When it comes to that, after you make that decision. So having the winds of change, we talk about Oya, the tornadoes and those are forces of nature. The oceans are forces of nature. Yemoja, the rivers, the forces of nature. Oshun, all of these things are forces of nature, but they're also within us too. The bloodstream is our river. That's our Oshun. The nervous system, that's our communication. That's our elect body, because it's dealing with communication with the elect body as well. He's like the mediator. They want to call him the devil. He's not the devil. Why? Because he gives you choice. People think that the devil is evil, but it's not. He just gives you choice. You can go this route and you can go that route. So which way do you want to go? But what happens is your divinity is that spirit, that spark, that essence of who you are, that came to this planet, that came to this realm of existence with the gifts that it had with it to be able to be empowered and to live and succeed on this realm of existence. But what happens is we forget about the gifts because we've been conditioned. So way back in the day, everybody had and everybody knew their divinity. A farmer knew that he was a farmer, and he knew how to work with that ground. He knew how to till it. He knew how to talk to it. He knew how to be able to talk to the plants and make it flourish because he had the energy. That's Hossein. That's the Orisha Hossein. He knew how to bring forth, and he knew how to give to the people. A mason knew how to cut. That was his divinity. And we began to dwell in our talents. We talked about earlier the talents. And the talents, people get confused with the talent and the gift. A talent is what you get from your parents and grandparents and foreparents. If your mama was a singer and your daddy and your papa could work with a piano, 9 out of 10, you can do both. Or you can play drums, or you can draw. It's all in the form of art. So your talent is art. And the more you use that talent, the more it gets, the better it gets, the stronger it gets. But that's not the gift. That's just what your parents embedded you with, gave you from their lineage, and so forth. So we began to use our talents as our way of living, whereas before we used our gifts as ways of living, and we succeeded. But we still succeeded with our talents and everything. So a singer could be a blowout. So we no longer are raised in our divinity. Now it's just our job skills, and we want to raise with our money, and so forth. So everything has went from spiritual to touch now. Money, compensate. I got to survive versus live, and that's not how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to have our divinity. We're supposed to live our divinity so we can use that. But we talked about earlier how fear allows us, or fear causes us to not go in our true divinity, not use our skilled gifts. So we talk about skilled gifts, not the skill that you learn from school, but allowing your divinity, your higher self, your highest good, your highest self to teach your ego. The bigger blow up of let's slow down. This is a bigger blow up of the Meduna Ter, which deals with Asar. They also call it Tahuti. Tahuti, Setker, Harukahuti, Horus. Not Horus. In the Greek is Horus, but in Kemet is Heru. Ma'at, Heteru, Aset, Sebek, and Geb. Now, even in this, you're dealing with the streams of the Orisha as well. For instance, Asar will be Obatala. Herukahuti will be Ogun. Heru will be Shango. Heteru Oshun. Ma'at, they say maybe, some have said Ochosi, but also some have said Oya. Sebek will be Papa Legba. Aset Yumojah. Get that happen. Then we can call on our divinities to be able to utilize. And mind you, each of these attributes, each of these Orisha and Loa, they are attributes of our divinities. So we have direct access to them. It's just about being able to raise them up. Now, because we're in a state of reality now where everything is like pretty much like computers and phones and hypnosis of the type of thing, then we have to learn to get out of that mentality and raise our divinity. And one way of doing that is nutrition, a good nutritional diet. How? Because eating organic foods that are high in vibration and energy can help raise your divinity. Eating foods with seeds in it, there are foods that, let's say, foods that are high in vibration. Definitely green leafy herbs, green leafy vegetables. Those are high in dark, like eggplant and avocado, and those type of dark foods. They have a lot of melanin, but they're also great for the body. They're high in vibration and so forth. And you raise your vibration, then you raise your divinity up. You help it raise that way. Taking herbs will also help your mind and body. I like herbs, I'm a herb man, Yes, even weed. Now I can't smoke it because it makes me sick to the stomach, but I make a tea out of it, and it has two effects. You get high and you sleep well if you drink it hot. If you drink it cold, you sleep. And someone just said, just close your eyes and relax. So I said, okay. Close my eyes, and I started going inward. And I seen my brain, and I seen my pineal gland. I saw the melanin coming out of the pineal gland. And some said, go deeper. And I went in deeper. And I saw all these little lights and stuff going in there. And I said, go deeper. I went deeper, and I saw the universe. I was like, oh, wow, this is awesome. And then it began to talk. This is how the pyramids were built. Why? Because we all are lights. Some greater, some lesser, but we are all lights. And because we are reflections of the universe, because we are reflections of that, then we could be in a point and be in an area. We knew where the center of the earth was. We knew where all this stuff was, and we were able to align ourselves with these cosmos, with the cosmos, and build accordingly. We understood what the energy take us to the sky's limit, and there is no limit. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, there is no limit. But taking these herbs and being able to, like ginkgo, garacola, sage, those are good herbs to just meditate with, to sit back and drink and just let your mind be at peace. And being at peace is very important. We got to be at peace, because if you're not, it's just hectic. And you can't think, you can't focus. And when you're in that state of mind, you're bad off. You know what I'm saying? Fasting is another way to raise your divinity and your vibrations. Why? Because it allows your body to heal. Your body, even though we are flesh, our bodies still is connected to the spirit one way or the other, and it's constantly working. If you work 72 hours every day, all day, you're gonna die. You know what I'm saying? Literally. But so imagine what we're doing to our system when we're eating like that. Even eating the 6 meals, it doesn't give your body a time to rest. The longest I went was 25 days with no food, just straight liquid, and it was great. It was great. The first 3 days was a little hard because I was hungry, but I wasn't hungry. My mouth just wanted to chew because it's a habit. We deal with these habits. Your mouth will trick your brain to thinking you're hungry, you need food, and you want to start chewing and this and that, but no, it's just a habit. You break that habit, you realize and you recognize, you know what, let me feel my stomach. Focus the attention on your stomach, and like, it ain't hungry, it's cool. The Nation of Islam, with the Prophet Muhammad, he had there's a book called How to Eat to Live. And he said that you eat 1 meal a day, you can live to be 100. You eat 1 meal every other day, you can live to be 300. You eat 1 meal you eat 1 meal once every 3 days, you live to be 1,000. Because your body is able to heal while it's going. And I tried that one time. I was amateur, but I tried it. I tried eating 1 meal every 3 days. And you feel great. You do feel good. People worry about headaches, they worry about passing out, they worry about not having enough. No. You just have to just be focused. Get out of the habit. Realize that it's your flesh that just wants flesh. It's not the spirit. You know what I'm saying? When you're living in that spiritual mind frame, you're able to really realize that it's so basic. We hear a lot, take your vitamins, eat your this and vitamins with the vegetables and all that, and that's good. But there are some vegetables too that you shouldn't eat. I mean, look at carrots. Carrots, they taste good, but it's full of acid because it's not even real. It's a hybrid. It's a cross between yarrow and yam. And it's acidic. Dr. Sadie, who talks about the alkaline foods and how to heal through that. A lot of our foods are acidic because of the poison that they're putting in the air, and on the ground, and the rain, and all that kind of stuff. So all of this will help us raise our divinity when we recognize it, realize it, and change a lot of our ways. Another thing that's important to help us raise our divinity is our mentality. How can the spirit even rise up? How can the spirit begin to talk to you if you're dealing with crap? It can't. A lot of times, in dealing with a lot of the Orisha, they do give you messages. They do give you signs and stuff like that. So you have to be focused enough to be able to accept and see them, recognize them, and see the synchronicities with them. I know, for instance, Papa Lake Bob sometimes, I love Papa Lake Bob a lot, and you'll hear me referencing him a lot because he was one of the main ones that really dealt with me first. He came to me in a dream when it was time for me to book. I was ruffling going on in the bed. I was like, wait a minute, something here ready to happen. No, I'd be freaked out, but I wasn't. I was calm, and I saw this rat come out, half white, half black. Rat come out. I was like, oh my God. And then behind it came a puppy, a nice, frisky, gray puppy. So I forgot about the rat, like, oh my God, look at the puppy. And I grabbed it up and everything, and it was just licking me and kissing me and all that good stuff. And then next thing you know, it clamped my ear with its teeth. I felt the teeth and everything. And it started talking to me. It was like, you must change your thoughts and change your ways. And I'm listening. He said, if you don't change, I will forsake you. And I was like, how? How can I do this? He said, change your thoughts, change your beliefs. He said, thoughts are better than one religion. And it let go, and it jumped out of my lap, and it licked the rat. The rat disappeared, and licked itself, and it disappeared. I just started bawling, just crying. I said, well, since he came to me, can I go ahead and put an altar up? He said, yeah. So I began to work with him that way. I began to talk to him about it. And from that point, he started really working with me until, once again, they don't judge you for what you don't know. Until a priestess came to me and told me, you're not supposed to work with the Orisha until you deal with the ancestors first. I said, really? She said, yeah, because they stand on the shoulders of the ancestors. I said, wow. So she taught me about the ancestors. She taught me about building an altar to the ancestors and how to do it and everything. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And when I did that, my first experience was I was living in my shop at the time. I was in Kentucky. I was living in the shop, and I heard a bang on the wall, and I got up, and I heard another bang, and so I went to the altar, and I was like, can I read you something? She said, yeah. So I read it to her, and she said, who told you that? I said, one of my ancestors just got to telling me about that. She said, you basically summarized the whole Reiki 1. I said, what? She said, yeah. So my godmother at the time was telling me that they're going to teach me Reiki through the spirit and so forth. And this is where I talk about the divinity being part of you, because your ancestors, the Orisha, they're all within you. Nothing is outside of you. They're all within you. And being able to tap into that divine wisdom called Tahuti, and they can work with that. They work with what you know, and then they manifest it. They make it blossom. Even though I didn't consciously know about Reiki, but I say that because the spirit works with you as you allow it to. And if your mind is on a level of acceptance, even though it can be scary, it can be nerve-wracking because you don't know half the time. It's like when you start this journey, it's like you're like head in a car with the headlights only going 200 feet ahead of you and everything else is black. Again, you don't know what's coming up. But like you said, you love the journey because it is a journey, and as long as you're willing and accepting and just waiting for the next thing to happen, it's awesome. It's totally awesome. And keeping positive affirmations in your mind also helps raise your divinity. I am a god. I am a goddess. You know what I'm saying? Because that's who we are. What separates us from God and be able to open up ourselves to its will, its desires, and be able to allow it to do what it needs to do for itself. Because it's not about us, it's about it. The universe has separated itself 7 billion times on this plane of existence to experience itself and to learn about itself. That's why we're all connected, because we are reflections of each other. One way or another, if there's something that you do that I don't like, it's because I don't like it because I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? To myself. And if something that you do that I love, then because there's something about myself that I love, type of thing. And same way with everybody. The spirit learns through its reflection. I never forget the time I call myself trying to help somebody. I was conning people, I would tell you one thing and then do something else, or I make these promises and then turn around and say, nah, this changed my mind. It was just, and I was shady, but when I realized that, I went to everybody I was shady to and apologized. I was like, I didn't realize it, but I have to apologize. But that's how your divinity will show itself and learns about itself, So keeping a positive affirmations towards yourself. Am I going too fast? Okay, I just want to check in with y'all. Keeping those positive affirmations about who you are. You know, sometimes we don't love ourselves enough. And raising that divine love is loving yourself. A few months ago, to look in the mirror and say, oh, you look good. You know what I'm saying? You know, because I always found flaws. And people will find flaws with themselves faster than they find with anybody else. And that's doubting yourself. And you don't want to do that. You want to be able to raise that love up of self. And if there's something that you want to change it because you know it will better you. Don't change because I don't like this and I don't like that, blah, blah, blah. Well, then you're still doubting yourself. And we want to be able to raise that love up. Oshun is about love. Oshun is about the goddess of love. She's and money and everything else when it comes to visualization and all that. You know, you have the people that whose head is of Oshun that go around down themselves. You can't be Oshun doing that. No, Oshun's cocky to an extent. You know what I'm saying? Constantly looking at herself and pain in his hat, stuff like that. Oshun, give her honey, give her calabash. You know what I'm saying? Oya has a calabash too. It's bigger. Shango you got the hammer. Or axe, but all these things, understanding though that when you're getting it for them, you're getting it for yourself, because these are attributes that are already within you. And being able to raise that Shango, raise that Ochosi, raise that Yimoja, that love, that emotion, within you, then you can be able to utilize the spirit in that manner. So even to say I am an Orisha, I am Osane. I didn't realize I was Osane because I didn't know nothing about him until my godfather and his friend I was getting some herbs from, nurturing, whether it be something, counseling, something. We have that divinity that once we raise it up, once we bring it back, and once we use that gift, then our lives will be so much more fulfilled, and then use the talent as our extracurricular activities. You know what I'm saying? Something that we can just do to put the cherry on top. And then the skills can go out the window because we're doing what we're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? And we can help others help others to learn. And we can teach them to help them become and raise their divinity as well. You want to listen to positive people, music, and thoughts. The music these days is special. You got all the killing and the shooting. They do have some good love songs and stuff like that. You don't have to always be, sounding like it's gonna rape you. Now, if you listen to a song and it makes you angry, it makes you feel a certain, way of just getting revenge, whatever, then that's not positive music. There's something negative in that music that you need to turn off. But listen to positive people that's gonna uplift you. If you're dealing with somebody and now all they want to do is be negative and say, you tell them, yeah, I'm gonna build me a house. Really? You can't build no house. You ain't got no skill. What you got this now? You see? All right, see you later. You know what I'm saying? You don't want that. That's just negativity. All because they can't do it, so they don't want you doing it, and they're gonna knock you down because of something that they're doing don't want to do themselves. So you don't want to be around negative people that or even groups in that is just. My word is special, because they want to, separate yourself so that way you can be able to grow. Because this journey in this life is about growth. It's not, we help each other along the way, but I can't help you if I can't help myself. You know what I'm saying? There's just no way. I work with a 16-year-old. I've been working with him since he was 10. And I've been, I take him to go here, take him to go there, go out to eat. He always wants to go out to eat. I'm like, you're the hungriest child I've ever seen. And so, I take him out to eat then, but he's smart. He's so smart. He knows how to con me really good. He put that little, well, Mr. Z, I don't have this and I need that and all this and all that. I'm like, all right. And he gets me every time. But he told me yesterday I really found out how spiritual he was. I didn't realize it. I started smelling a smell that wasn't pleasant. So this morning I got up and I checked and I asked the spirit, I was like, was he telling the truth? He said, yep. I was like, what? You know, so I told him, I said, wait, you was right. He said, really? I said, yeah. He said, so I am magic. I said, no, you're not magic. You know? I said, but you have a gift. You know, I said, you have a gift. He said, well, we need to get it out. I said, he said, we. I'm like, really? You know, and so I said, well, I'll figure it out what to do. He said, no, just get some holy water. I said, okay. I said, you get the holy water and I'll do my thing. So we're going to work on that this weekend. And I'm like, they start, you know, it. And when you're listening to the positivity, when you're listening to your positive thoughts, because sometimes your thoughts will come negative too. Well, that's nothing but ego a lot of times. Let me tell you what ego really is. Ego is supposed to be in the place, like I said before, the helper of the consciousness and will. You have, think about ego, energy goes. It helps when the consciousness has a desire and has a will to achieve something. The ego's job is to say, okay, this is what you want. We're going to do this. And boom, it goes and start making it happen. It gets information from the consciousness, brings it back to the brain, per se, the brain, and gives the body the energy to make it happen. What happens is we get caught up in the fear factor of things. Money, so let's work around to where you get this much money, then we can work on building the car. It's going to give, it strategizes and makes things manifest. So the ego's not bad, it's just the fact that where we have it in our lives. We must keep it in its place, which is to be subservient to the will and consciousness, to the consciousness will. And then once that happens, we can make things work. So meditation is a great way to be able to not only calm the ego, but also to raise your divinity. Meditation is one of the most powerful ways because you're calming your mind. Now, you don't have to necessarily be sitting in a graveyard and talk about No, you just, whatever gives you peace. And you know, some people say, I can't calm my mind. I don't know how to do that. But it's whatever gives you peace. I walk. I love walking. I walk and talk. And people think I'm crazy because and I'll get more into that tomorrow. But using these shells, if you don't ask the right question, you're going to get what's called any tower, which is in that book, that handbook. And you're going to keep on getting that because it's like, what are you asking? You know, am I going to pass this grade? Am I going to pass this class? You tell, why are you asking me that? Of course you'll pass if you study. If you don't study, you ain't going to pass. So you're not going to get a clear answer. You know, sometimes you have to change it around and change the answer around. But then sometimes, if you already know the answer to it, why are you asking me this? You know, that type of thing. So the spirit will let you know, look, don't ask me that. You already know the answer to that. You know what I'm saying? It's about moving from the tools and getting into your intuition. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. Intuit all these things. That's what that Sahu basic instincts of life. And then from there, you manifest what it is that you're trying to do. And this day and time is just work and live and survive, you know, trying to get that money. You have your superior or divine intuition because you know and you have that will, you have the force, and you have the divine law of what it's going to take to make it happen. And then you have your spiritual intuition because you have the divine knowledge, you have the whole structure, and you have that oneness with the source and so forth. So being able to utilize each of those will help you to raise that divinity, help you raise those. He wrote this. He wrote what's called the Maduniter, which means Word of God. He wrote like 6 volumes of that. And then this here, and he breaks, like in this book, the Tree of Life Meditation, he breaks all these down, as far as what they stand for, what they do, how they facilitate our being in life on this state, on this reality. And then he also wrote what's called the 11 Laws of Ma'at, which is like the 11 Laws of God. And that's really deep. Now he wrote these books under meditation, where it was the ancestors giving him his knowledge. So these books, so especially the volume 1 of the Trinitarian and volume 2, it's like reading Chinese, because it's really, when you learn how to master the physical, because all we together from top down is the physical is your natural being. Then you begin to deal with the bodies, because you know there's like however many bodies. You got the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, the etheric body, all the different bodies. So from here, this is the physical body. Then you're dealing with the emotional body, which from all set up, because I'll say it's those waters, that's the emotion. Understand how to deal with them in there. Then you have the divine body, or I should say the superior body. Then you have the divine body, and then you have God. Some people say you can't, well, you know, upon this Amen is God. You can't be Amen, why not? You know what I'm saying? If we come from him, if we come from it first, then why can't we be? You know what I'm saying? Because once again, you're connected. So do anybody need to take a bathroom break or things like that?
I'm gonna have to go ahead and get the house.
Okay.
I'm gonna actually take a quick little
Okay, cool.
break.
No problem. Thank you, Adam. Oh, of course. I appreciate you. Appreciate you coming. Big time.
You're doing good. Well, very well. Thank you. Got stuff to talk to you about later too.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you so much for coming.
Good seeing you again.
Good seeing you, Anna. Still doing there?
No, actually, I let my license relapse.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm getting married.
Oh, congratulations.
It's wonderful.
When you get married?
It's like
October.
this processing.
This year?
Yes.
Wow,
And
congrats.
it's so bizarre because so much it's like
Officially. Common law.
okay.
Yeah.
Almost
Peacock.
dodged call. Okay.
Well, I got peacock feathers.
Don't get on
I got honey drop here.
Yeah.
I got
Well, you got everything got
yellow and orange stuff everywhere, and I'm
Very
just like
rarely.
looking. And then all of a sudden I'm like,
I was going to water event
and all of a sudden you're
every
just like,
second and fourth Saturday downtown.
oh shit, that's hold on, what is that? And then I'm
I'm
reading number 5, vitality, manifestation, beauty, love.
every
Damn.
Second and fourth.
Like I didn't intentionally seek out to
I'm sorry.
create the altar. The altar
Mm-hmm.
created itself.
I was still out with that one.
And like that happened to
Seeing you
me.
guys.
You
All right.
too.
I gotta start doing that.
The Hindu.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah, so like,
It's a safe travel.
How long ago?
And last
I almost
year.
got for a minute,
Pardon?
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry. And that's how, and we want to talk about that tomorrow too, because that's what happens. We sometimes we want to build our own altars, but really we don't have to,
No.
because like all you start off with is just a regular white bowl, white cloth, white bowl, glass bowl, white cloth, and a white candle.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you sometimes, or you'll just be driven to do it.
right,
You know?
things will be gifted to you, things will show up, and all of a sudden it's there, and you're like, that's so and so.
Yeah.
And just the other day, I was getting out of the shower. I'm like, why do I keep repeating? Papa, like, blah, like, well, why is this? And then there was some idea. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm just like, oh no, you guys, what do you want? I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, from the time that when I came over and we were talking about the goddesses, I still haven't built that altar. Yeah, it just never felt right. But now I think, like, now I'm supposed to be partnering up with somebody. I'm just waiting for that to happen.
Okay. Well, when it comes, you'll know it.
Yeah.
You'll know it. You know, I mean, like I said with my experience, I didn't know I was supposed to have an altar for populate body because I didn't know anything about them. But once they came to me, then I knew, okay, I can do this now. And then from there, I just, you know, the different ones just started coming to build altars. You know, I had a room in Kentucky. My whole room was his altar room. You know, I had stapled white towels all over the floor. There was a hardwood floor. Stapled white towels all over the floor, and the whole room was white. And I had the only thing in there that was colored was my plants. And I was all saying, it was like, and it was pretty powerful. But we're gonna talk about altars tomorrow because you know altars are more than just a setup. You know, it's beautiful. It can be beautiful, but there's so much more to that. You know what I'm saying? But it is a representation of ourselves. You know, which is pretty awesome. So y'all good? Everybody good? All right. I appreciate y'all so much. So to move forward, another way to open your divinity is exercise to help the mind be open and free to receive. You were just doing that. I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome. We can be talking about some yoga stretches. I ain't know where in the world I could do that. and then when it comes through, sometimes you can remember, but by the time it reaches the mouth, it's like totally distorted.
Like, hold on, let me try to articulate this in human.
Right.
Like, let me try to process this and put this into words because
Exactly.
our human brains and our vocabulary doesn't have the capacity to relay the message that we're receiving.
Exactly.
It's so profound.
So profound. That's true. You know, and that just shows just how powerful the spirit is. And it's just when you're talking about it now, it's like, how do we even understand it when it's in our head? You know what I'm saying? But we understand it better in our head than we do expressing it. And I get at the end of the day say that because it's just for you, only. But it makes sense. But it's like you begin to really find things out. Like when I explained to y'all about the different levels and stuff, that came to me last night. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, wow. And so I had to record it, but even when I was recording it, it wasn't the same. And I'm like, what happens when the baby comes out? It can't talk. But it knows everything.
Yeah.
It knows. I'm saying? They know everything. They have dreams in the womb. What are they dreaming about? You know what I'm saying? They know. And we mess up when we begin to tell them this is not that. For instance, mommy, I came from Mars. No, you didn't. You came from my stomach. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We can, and so that part of the brain shuts down. You know what I'm saying? It does. And it's crazy because each time we condition them to a certain thing, they lose that divinity. One of my grandmothers used to always tell children, remember who you are.
Yes.
While they're babies, remember who you are. Because she said one was
At the bottom of the steps, looking out the window into the light beam, having that conversation.
wow.
And I'm just like, and I never, for as much conditioning that I had put on me growing up, there was a lot that wasn't even touched.
Right.
And that's why, like, I am so hell-bent and to pursue forward with this type of path and learn and to remove and peel those calluses and that conditioning off. I'm like, nope, chisel off. That doesn't belong there. Nope. We're gonna get back to square one.
Exactly. And that's the truth. I mean, I always knew I was different. Not only because I walked to school talking about powers, but because I didn't fit in with nobody. I didn't do the sports.
Yep.
I didn't do the games. Well, I didn't attend them. That was fun. Mario Brothers was really fun. But other than that, I didn't do a lot of the stuff everybody else did. But I was, and so we was really instilled. Strength was instilled in us. But like you, I didn't really accept a lot of the conditioning because in my, I had imaginary friends.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And really, those imaginary friends are your higher self, that you're conversating with, that you're talking to and all that. One thing that makes me upset about people who are diagnosed with schizophrenia is because that's just a part of the brain that's open that they don't know. They think you're crazy. I'm sorry. They think you're crazy, but it's not. Think about it. We live on multi-dimensions. You know what I'm saying? We are multi-dimensional attributes of the higher self, but we have to be able to accept it. And and really work with it. You got lifting, you know. So like I said, walking is a great powerful meditation. Lifting weights. You know, you got people that be in the gym just lifting, their blank face on, you know, because they're in their zone. They're meditating, you know, but they're lifting, you know. And a lot of times, not only lifting physical weights, but lifting the challenges in your mind. We talked about that earlier. You know, I'm gonna actually do a talk on facing your challenges on a spiritual level. You know, because we go through life blaming other people. We go through life saying, well, this wouldn't have happened if so-and-so hadn't done this, if so-and-so hadn't done that. But in the end, the true, I don't want to say fault, but we don't want to do either. It's hard to forgive others, but then to forgive ourselves, I have nothing to forgive myself for. You're angry. You know what I'm saying? Just being angry, that's hurting yourself. So now you have to forgive yourself for hurting yourself because you're angry. You know, so everything reflects within. Everything is within. So being able to lift those type of weights and then stretching your body, you know, that's powerful because not only stretching your body, but you're stretching your mind to the limits. You know what I'm saying? Being, you know, a lot of times we talk about looking outside the box. We talked about it earlier. But, you know, when we look outside the box, we're only peeking. And we're still in our box, but we're only looking outside the box. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we have to get outside the box that we're looking out of. You know what I'm saying? Because we can be looking, but then once we know, I don't have no money, I have no food, I have this, oh God, why are you doing X, Y, Z, oh, blah, 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 just cussing God and cussing everybody else out and just mad. That's not building your character. You're just venting off and just cussing everybody out and just mad. But if you can go through it, still joyful, still realizing it's for a purpose. What's the lesson behind this? What do I need to do? What do I need to learn from this? Where am I lacking? Where do I need to build my faith in? What do I need to put my energy towards? If you can examine, how the Bible says, examine yourself, you know, examine where you are lacking in this situation for this situation to be the way it's at. Then you're building that character because you're not just going off on people. You're not just going off on spirit. You are actually going with the flow, learning the lessons of the situation and of the life, so that way it's raising you to a higher level of the norm. You know, it's okay to go to other religions and check them out. You know what I'm saying? You know, like some people say, oh, if you go here, if you go there, then you're going to hell or you're bad, something like that. And that's not true. That's one thing that, you know, not to down anybody's religion, but that's one thing I've learned about religion, period. Religion causes you to look outside yourself, whereas spirituality makes you look within yourself. And Christianity is one of the religions that causes you to separate from everybody else versus combine and versus learn from everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So that's my experience. You know what I'm saying? And once I realized that, that's when I started really wanting to learn everybody else's stuff, because it's like, okay, there has to be more than one way.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And like Ogun told me, he said, it breaks down, like they said, so much information about the chakras, so much information. But one thing that I learned about the chakras is there's so much more to them, so much more. So, just as an example, the earth tells us exactly who we are in relations to the chakras and to it. You know, I call the rainbow the chakras of the earth. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the same colors, first of all, but it's just Roy G. Biv in reverse. You have the white, and then you have the purple, the violet and all that. Then you have that gap in there. So those have you ever seen a double rainbow before? Mm-hmm. Then everything comes from the heart. Why? Because the heart is the portal of life. That's where life comes from. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's so powerful. And when you come from the heart, think about it. That's the first organ that's developed in the body. But before that organ can be formed, what happens when a woman gets pregnant? You know what I'm saying? She's throwing up. She's warning sickness, everything. Just throwing up. Why is she throwing up? Because the energy now has to clear that space out. It has to clear all that negativity out so it can have a space to be formed. You know, and then once it's cleared out, all that stuff is cleared out, then it can form. And the heart's formed. And from there, everything else is formed. And it's so powerful because you go, once you realize that heartbeat and you're open and that rises, then everything comes out and they're healing. You know what I'm saying? It comes through the heart chakra. All the healing comes through the heart chakra, through the palm of your hands. It's powerful stuff. You know what I'm saying? So very powerful. So that gap that's in between the rainbows is our flesh. That's us. That's our manifestation. And then we go with the Roy G. Biv from there. But the reason why it only goes to adult green is because we haven't mastered the divine love. You know, this world is in a state of conditional love. You know what I'm saying? I love you if. You better do this and that if. Do you really love your wife? Buy her this ring. You know what I'm saying? That's conditional love. Unconditional love is love here first. You know, and then I can love you so much that I'll let you sit in jail because I know if I help you, you will do the same thing all over again. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Unconditional love. And that's where that we come through. So whereas on here, this is the white part of the rainbow. And then all these faculties is what forms us and we come out in the flesh. We come out as a baby. And same way with that. We come through spirit. Everything comes within and forms out. That's why I said everything is within. Nothing's outside of us. We create our reality through our thoughts, our habits, and the way that we think. You know, and the way that we do things and believe, our belief system. They call it BS. You know, but I mean, we create our own world. And we can create our success or we can create our failure. So one of the I'm sorry, I'm reading as I'm going, and it says that the body is only the surface of the earth. We are worlds walking around here, you know, and it makes sense. They did a talk where he blew up the pineal gland, the picture, like thousands of times, and you can see above the pineal gland this light, and when you zoom into the light, it's just floating. You zoom into the light, and it's a galaxy. It looks like a galaxy just spinning. I mean, and that made me think, wow. That's why they say it as above, so below. Because we are of the Milky Way galaxy. So why wouldn't it be that that's the Milky Way right there that we are a part of? And why also wouldn't it be that during the ancient days they were able to go within enough, we talk about building the pyramids, and be able to align themselves also that way to build and to make things just as perfect and aligned with the star, because the stars are already. And even in going within those chakras and going to each of those dimensions, you go through each dimension by a thought, by a decision that you make. Will change your dimension and will put you in another dimension. It goes powerfully deep. I didn't even go that route, but you know what I'm saying. But it's powerful. It's really powerful. So one thing that we have to definitely do is study ourselves. You know, study ourselves. Study who we are. Jesus said in the scriptures, "Seek ye first the kingdom and His righteousness, and everything will be added unto you." He also said that the kingdom of heaven is within you. So if you're seeking the kingdom is within you. You're seeking yourself.
That was one of the biggest things, that the contradiction that was in the Catholic Church that I would always question as a child was, if it's within myself and I am, we're creating the image and the likeness of God.
Right,
yes.
right.
We are it. We're walking pieces of it. But once you start talking that way, you're like, no, bring yourself down.
Stone him to death.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No, that is a contradiction. It says right there, even in Psalms it says, "Ye are gods." You know, sons and daughters of the Most High God. But we are gods. You know, and gods truly is just a title. Yeah. You know, and even the Orisha and the Loa don't like being called gods because that's belittling. We are gods, they are deities.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And probably higher than that, but they are attributes of our higher self. And so yes, we are what image is the root word of what? Imagination. Then you got imagine, then image. So my theory, and I say it's a theory because I have yet to prove it. My theory is, what if none of this is even happening? In the imagination, God is thinking about how he's going to make this happen right now. You know what I'm saying? And everything that's happening is just the thoughts. I mean, think about it. When you're thinking of something, it doesn't know it's a thought. It's just doing what you're thinking
That's
about.
how your body reacts and responds to your thoughts.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so, what if God's doing the same thing and just thinking about it? And because we're in his imagination. And it sees us in his image. And it's imagining everything that is happening, which is why the outcome is always on God's side.
Universe, everything we're seeing is just God dreaming what it's like to be physical. Right? So it's that same thing. It's that imagination, that dream of what it would be like to be in a physical form.
Right.
And that it was exactly what you're saying. Is that so if you go back, if you think about that in another way, it's that both are existing at the same time, right? So like everything that we see, whether it's each other, the earth, the trees, this, everything is it.
I felt like the organ.
Everything is it.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's
And that's all there is.
That's it.
And with it, and everything is it. And you know, when we close our eyes, our bodies will be at rest and our eyes will be closed. But it's all still happening. Right? So it's all it.
Right. Because sometimes we leave our bodies, you know, to be able to go and venture, you know.
Do what we need to do, take care of things, heal, work.
Exactly.
Because I notice that I'll wake up and I'm like, God damn, I'm exhausted. Because what did I do? Of course, I didn't want to stay in my body. I went off and did this and visited this person and had to do some healing. Had to go to another dimension to fight this. And I'm like, God damn, Sarah, just give your body a rest.
Right.
Shit.
I just seem like the snake eating its own tail.
The Ouroboros?
Yeah, I think so.
The Ouroboros? Yeah, when you were bringing up the mind where it was going up.
Yeah, it makes sense. You know, I mean, it's
To this point where I would walking meditation on the beach, and this is back before I lived on the beach. Simultaneously, I felt so small, so minuscule, but so grand at the same time, like how it layered, like simultaneously. I'm like, God, I'm so small and insignificant, but yet vast and just abundant and just I am. I was like, what is this paradox? Like, what the hell?
Right. See, when you're humble like that and you're not full of pride and all that kind of stuff, then that's when you can feel that.
Yeah.
Because the spirit can be like, okay, you're not trying to have that
Conquer the world.
mindset. You know, you're humble enough to allow that energy to just bathe you. You know, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? To just just be. That's it. I said, I love your shawl. It's a beautiful shawl. And she turned around like, oh my God, just like amazed to see me. I'm like, okay. You know, and you know, she's like, I'm looking at the God, I'm looking at a king, this and the other. I'm like, oh, thank you. You know, and we started talking, and my first thing was, wow, you look like Mother Amanda. You know what I'm saying? Look just like her. And so we started talking, and I said, well, what you studying? She said, the question is, what's studying me? And I was like, oh, okay. You know, and then she started talking, and I said, well, what's your name? She said, Amanda. I was like, oh my Lord. You know, trip me out. So she taught me how to just be. You know, she said, don't try to be God, just be. Because that's what you are. You know, you are a God, so just be God. Don't, whenever you try, like you were saying earlier, when you try to figure stuff out, things collide. But when you just be and understand your divinity and understand that you are, and study who you are, and understanding that if you're studying the kingdom, then you're studying yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because the kingdom is in you. You are the kingdom. You are heaven. You know what I'm saying? So the kingdom of heaven is within you. So you're studying yourself. And then once you find yourself, when you find yourself, you begin to know yourself. When you know yourself, then you know the gifts and power that you have to accomplish your purpose that you came to this earth to do. Mm-hmm. And then you can allow yourself to teach yourself how to use those gifts skillfully. You know what I'm saying? And be able to prosper and teach and heal and help many others. And like I said earlier, use your talents as your recreational type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And be happy. Go outside the box and investigate other cultural spiritualities and see how in other ways, because what I got is my foundation, but I YouTube this, got massages from that one, and was like, okay, I like that. Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I ain't dealing with that one. You know what I'm saying? And you're creating it your own. So now their gifts or talent or skills is being meshed into yours. So now it's becoming yours. You know what I'm saying? And you can be able to do that with the spirituality. You know, it's okay. You know, you have Lasky and Oshun together. Just make sure that you identify them by their name. You know what I'm saying? Without mixing them up. You know, far as I know, Papa Legba is one of the only ones that doesn't really have a different name other than like Sedek and yeah, that's the only one I know. You know that they both, like in voodoo, she wears the pink and the white and all that, you know, the pastel colors, whereas Oshun, she wears the yellow and all that, you know. But sometimes you have pink, like when I had my store, I had to dedicate it to Oshun in Kentucky. And so I painted my walls pink and coral because those are her colors and so forth. And it actually put her energy in there. And so children always, you know, Oshun, she has a lot of children, but she don't take care of them children. She gives them to y'all take care of. And so children always came into my store and wanted to play and everything, you know. And we had little Oshun, little Shangos, little Oguns, and all. But we only had one Legba that came in, and his name was Jeffrey. And I'll never forget Jeffrey. He was a beautiful young man. He had to be about 7 years old at the time. And he would come in and just sit, and they were all playing. And Jeffrey came and picked it up. Mm-hmm. And was like, but by then he picked it up and was looking at it, looked at it, and then set it back down. Then he told his friend, Little Goon, to do something. And he did. He's like, I tricked you. I see you. Yeah, exactly. Right. And me and Julie was like, he went inside Jeffrey. It was crazy. And from that point, he would just pop up. And one time my place was dirty, so I had to clean the altar. I cleaned everything up. And when I cleaned it up, I put a new altar, new coconut down and everything. As soon as we got through, I swear to God, Jeffrey was right there in his black and the red sucking on lollipop. you know, and I mean, you know what I'm saying? But you use it accordingly, you know what I'm saying? And whatever you can't use, then you give it to somebody else that can use it. But it has its place. So, you know, we have to just go outside the box and see other cultures. You know, take what we have learned and put it to use without fear. Like we talk about the whole ego thing. You know, we can't be fearful because it's going to seem scary. It is, because people are so judgmental. You know, the first thing that they want to do is judge you and say, oh, well, you're dealing with the devil, you're evil, you're blah, 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 crap. And they're the main ones that are going to come to you. Can you pray for me? Yep. I got something in my house or something happened. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be the first ones, you know? So we have to just go our path without fear, you know. When it comes to seeking out our gifts and learning our gifts, we have to put it to use without fear. Even though, you know, like, you inspire me, like, but but it works out, you know, and it is definitely it was fearful at first, but trust in spirit, trust in your intuition, trust in yourself, and know that boom, you're taken care of. that's one thing the scripture did that Jesus said, the universe is going to take care of everybody and everything.
Yeah, Matthew something or other.
Yeah.
That really alleviated any anxiety as far as any food, shelter, any type of means.
Right.
Just reiterating that to myself that, if the animals and everything else.
The stones and control the universe, and his whole thing was affinity stones. Thank you. And his thing was there's not enough in the universe. Really? The universe is constantly expanding. How is there not enough?
Our society is creating things like that to condition us and shut us down and make each other compete against each other.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing. That's how they program us through these type of things. So then we begin to believe that we have to be conserved, we have to do this, oh no, you can't have nothing of mine, I can't share with you. You know what I'm saying? And then we're savages. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. And there's so plenty of everything. And I mean, shucks, one corn can make a whole ear. You know what I'm saying? And there's plenty more in meals. So I mean, it's just all in the illusion of doubting. So that's the constant battle of good and evil, doubt and belief, all that, God and the devil, because you're fighting the belief that you're doubting, but when you know, you don't have to believe that you can go drive your car. You just do it. You know what I'm saying? So we have to know. Belief is information not worked. That's all it is. Belief, I say, is for the beginners. You know what I'm saying? If I'm telling you this, I'm telling you all this stuff. Right now, you may believe it, you may not. But until you work it, then once you work it and you see that it does work, then that turns into faith. Because you know what? Okay, I believed it. I didn't really understand it, but now it's worked a couple times, so I think it'll work again. You know what I'm saying? And you work it, and then it turns into more faith. So your faith builds. Then once you get to where you're an expert at it, find what it is that you need, because you're going within to find it. You know what I'm saying? You're not going into space somewhere. You're going within because you have everything that you need. Everything. Journaling is so important, because once you journal, when you journal and you join your experiences and your dreams, boom, you got your record. You're keeping track of your experience. You're keeping track of your knowledge. You're keeping track of what's being given to you. And then once you do that, and you can go back and read. There's journals. I have like so many journals, and I will go back and read a lot of that, and I'm like, man, that's happening to me now.
Because we're very sick.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes they tell you the future, sometimes they tell you the present, and sometimes you just repeat, what you did then, what was going on now, and it's kind of like preparing you for what you get ready to face. What is what, and we raise our divinity. So. Welcome to your journey.
Yes!
Thank y'all so much.
I've been waiting for this so long.
But tomorrow we're going to deal with communicating with your higher self.
Okay.
Knowing when you are speaking to you, creating your prayer space, which I know y'all have done. I'm going to change some of this, because we are going to delve more into the Loa and into the different energies as well, and have an understanding more of them, because sometimes people focus on, like Bob, for instance, being the trickster or being evil, bad. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about the spirit, since they are in us, then they're here for coming, for being patient with me, and I shade to all of you. Thank you. I actually had comments.